All right. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for coming on. This episode's been one that we've been wanting to do for a long time because it's an awesome industry to talk about and we're really interested in it. But why don't you give a quick intro to the crew and tell them who you are?
Okay, should I go first?
Yeah.
Hello, everybody. I am Amara. I'm a part of Thumper, the new and, well, not new and improved, I guess it's the only one at the moment, kind of female sex work industry management thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm Zarita. I'm one of the new girls that's about to be launched with Thumper. I'm really excited to be here.
Awesome. Well, excited to have you. And I'm going to jump straight into this. We obviously talked about Thumper and we'll get into that stage of where we're at soon. But I'd like to know each of you just a bit of history, like how you got into it. And maybe we can start with you, Amara. How did you get into this? And tell us that little story about that transition into this life.
Well, funnily enough, I feel like a lot of my life I was always told I would be a good porn star, even when I was a virgin.
Yeah,
for someone always told me, or some people always told me that I should be a porn star and all this stuff. And then OnlyFans came along probably, I think just before I turned 18 or around that time.
That's so good.
Putting this on Do Not Disturb.
Yeah, you're good.
Okay.
We'll clip that out.
Yeah, sorry.
That's fine. So everyone told you you'd be good as a porn star.
Yeah, and then kind of OnlyFans came along before I turned 18, and everyone was kind of telling me you should just do it, so your thing. And I don't know, I've kind of always been confident and confident in my sexuality, that kind of thing. So and then I was working in a butcher for 3 years, different kind of meat. And I got a really sore back from lifting and stuff, especially over lockdown. We're doing online orders and stuff. And one day I was just like, fuck it, I can't do this anymore. And then I just made an OnlyFans during the COVID lockdown, probably I think the first one after a couple months after I turned 18. And then it's almost been 3 years. In August it'll be 3 years.
Crazy.
Okay,
cool. And we'll come back to that actually because there's definitely some stuff I want to dig into that. But for Zarita yourself, how did this career start for you?
I think I was a sugar baby all throughout high school, a lot younger than I should have been. And I guess it just kind of naturally progressed. I was very open with myself and my sexuality. I'm pansexual, so I've always been quite fluid and open to different kinks and fetishes. And then that's when I got into a little bit of femdom stuff. I had a slave, and he was a foot fetish guy. And I made a lot of money off him. I made I don't know, I don't know what I was saying. I made 10 grand off him for just literally sniffing my feet and stuff. So I was okay, there's definitely a market for sort of different things on the spectrum for just sexuality and stuff. So I was okay, cool. I found this really interesting because I love learning about psychological stuff and things, so I don't have any taboos or qualms or anything around sex. So when I learned about OnlyFans and I actually saw the girls on TikTok and stuff and how well they were marketing themselves and making a profit and how confident and sexy they looked, and I'm I love that. It's just embracing themselves. So I was just I definitely want to be a part of OnlyFans, and I did it. I got my learner's license just so I could do it. So,
I love that. That's the best. So there's a common theme there, right? About sexuality and comfort in the sexuality, and at a young age too. How much was that? Where did that come from? Where does that confidence at that age come from in sexuality?
Well, in my household, sex and people's bodies and stuff like that was not. It wasn't something that we could talk about openly. It wasn't ever I wasn't sheltered from it in life, Cool. So that was kind of something I was really comfortable with the whole idea of naked bodies and people doing sexual things and things like that. So I guess when people my friends and stuff would always ask me any sexual questions they want. One time my friend, when we were I don't know, 13, 14, she's what's anal? And I had to explain it to her, and it's a kind of story that we always share between each other. But and then I've just kind of always been the person that you can come to and talk about things like that. So
interesting. And is that similar experiences for yourself, or is it quite different?
With me, I kind of like rejected it for a long time, like my sexuality and stuff, and I didn't like embrace it. I was a tomboy.
Okay.
Because I felt like being a girl, like, and growing up in the environment that I did, it was quite dangerous to be a girl, and so I kind of put aside like my femininity and being sexual and stuff, because I guess I was like hypersexualized.
Okay.
And then it got to a point where I'm like, I'm already being hypersexualized and like fetishized or exoticized and all of the isms. So I'm like, I may as well like embrace it and use it to my advantage, and then make a profit off it, I guess. Yeah.
And so I just want to touch on, before we jump into OnlyFans, and you talked about, sugar baby, all this sort of stuff. And like how, like as a teenager, like how does that world present itself to you?
Well, it's actually like, because I'm a law student as well, so I know a bit about like, I guess some of like the negative sides of some of like the industry. So there's a site called like Seeking Arrangements, and you don't have to like have an ID verification or anything like that. And in New Zealand, there actually is a lot of underage trafficking, and it is through sites like that. Social media is the main method that they recruit.
Okay, got it.
Underage.
So, and you can tell me if we don't want to go down here, but like, was that like you getting into it? Was it partly that? Like, was it partly getting recruited at a young age rather than by your own choice?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I didn't really have like a choice. So then it was like, I know like the negative side of things, like of it. So it's like OnlyFans and stuff is such a different world to that. It's like you're fully in control. You are like, it's based on your autonomy and what you choose to do. And it's more liberating. Like that side of things is like quite scary. Like that side of the world. And it exists in New Zealand. So many people don't 100%. Realize, but it's real, it's scary. It's happening.
Yeah, it's super scary. Like, I mean, we're getting off topic here, but like I did a lot of my like 20s in the Gold Coast, right? Like I was one of those young dumb Kiwis who went to the Gold Coast when I was in my 20s, but sex trafficking was huge there because like there was guys like coming over, they would drug up these girls, take them back to the UAE or whatever. That was when like Dubai was like going through its rapid expansion. They'd just take all these pretty girls over and like they'd be lost for like 6-7 years.
That's crazy.
It was crazy stuff.
Wow.
Anyway, that's not what this conversation's about. But it's cool. It's cool because actually we talked about this off camera a little bit. Like what OnlyFans has done for the sex industry is awesome. Like we talked about how the growth of sex workers for like literally ever has been like pretty much taken advantage of, right? Like it's what it is, right? It's been exploitation, but to now it's like empowerment, right? Like the OnlyFans thing, like when that happened, like the guys know because like I always talk about it, like I'm always like the business of OnlyFans is fucking epic, like how it's given control, but not just OnlyFans, like even the way PornHub's set up now, like where anyone can post on it, anyone can do anything, like the democratization of these content platforms.
They've made it more accessible for creators and things like that, and made it a lot easier to kind of work the app and like make money.
And that's what I wanted to ask. Like, how easy is it for you? Like, is there much of a barrier to like get yourself on there?
I didn't have troubles, but I know a few people like when it comes to just getting your account verified. I had a little bit of trouble with verification, but I know some girls like you have to like provide ID and their passport doesn't work, their license doesn't work for whatever reason, and like OnlyFans kind of just sends you the same default email every time and like doesn't really like, you know, you can talk to someone real, but it takes a lot to get there with a lot of things. But yeah, I feel like the website itself has definitely gotten better over the years. It's kind of annoying. Like I wish we could have an app, but I don't think they would ever allow that on the app store anyways. So that's kind of only annoying thing, but
But actually like getting started into that journey of OnlyFans is like quite easy otherwise. Like it's a pretty simple step, like from a just like pure mechanical way.
When I first started, I started with like two of my friends from high school. We started like within the same couple weeks. Other than that, I don't know anybody else. So I was kind of just winging this, like watch like Lena the Plug's YouTube video one time, like how to use OnlyFans kind of vibe.
I love it.
And and basically I just kind of winged it. It was a little bit confusing, like even like just trying to send out a trailer with the PPV. on messages. I only just learned it probably 6 months ago.
Oh yeah, really?
And
Yeah.
I had to ask people because it's just like some things are just a little bit confusing. But
a little bit technical.
other than that, it's pretty easy. Yeah.
And how did you find it as well on your side, Zarita?
Yeah, I found it like pretty easy, like just setting it up. It takes like around about like 2 weeks, I think, for like your banking and everything to be verified.
Cool.
Yeah.
So as long as you've got like ID and a bank account, you can create one and stuff. So I think just like making it is like the easy part, and then like
maintaining
it is like the other part.
Yeah, and I want to get into that actually, and I might just jump into there and come back to some other questions. Is that, look, we're obviously not an OnlyFans agency, but we like a content agency, right? We're creative for people. And the reason why we exist is because people suck at making content. Like they're just useless at it, right? So they hire us.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, like from your guys' perspective, when you started out, you're out on your own doing it, right? Mm-hmm. How hard was it to like continually like figure out what content to make, like how to put it out? Like, cause like, yeah, like let's be honest. Most people watching this stuff gonna go, this is easy. Just fucking take your clothes off and you can do that, right? But like, it's not that, is it?
No, it's a lot harder. I struggled because I've been doing it for almost 3 years.
Yeah.
So it got to a point like I was waking up every day in the same house, doing the same thing by myself. And like you kind of lose a bit of a passion for it because it's like, what now? Like I've done everything I possibly could. I've used every toy I own. Yeah. Like I put it in all my holes now. Now what? Like kind of thing. And yeah, it just kind of got repetitive. But now luckily, like when I first started, I wasn't on TikTok and things like that. So, and my Instagram was always getting deleted, and like I always just had like things that were kind of pushing me back from things like that. But yeah.
And what about yourself? Like from a content creation perspective, like did you find that challenging? Because you've done more than just OnlyFans and things like that. Like how's that content journey been for you?
Like I've been I haven't done anything with social media at all personally in my like real life and stuff. And so I started doing it like just over a year ago. And then it was just all new to me and I didn't know what to do, but I just knew I was like, I'm just going to go like put all my effort into it and see what happens. And then initially I got into it. I'm like, okay, it's just like cute selfies and you post it. It'll be so easy. Like that side of it is easy, but it's like, then you also have to be like an editor, a photographer. Like you have to set it up and everything and like try to like direct yourself and then try to watch yourself from like a bird's eye whilst you're doing everything, but be in the moment and make it look natural. So it's like, it's a lot more intense and harder to do when it's just you and you don't have like support around you or like even just someone holding the camera for you.
Like you are the cameraman.
You're the cameraman, It's like you have all the hats, so
Like we struggle to get people to talk on camera, you know, like in our business, right?
Exactly.
So like tell me about that. Like we probably like if you're thinking about like when you're creating content at the beginning, it's just you and yourselves. Like how do you know, like, I mean, are you just watching lots of other people do it? Is that where you get inspiration? Like how do you figuring that out? Because like it seems like, I know that probably sounds like I'm asking a dumb question probably to audiences because audiences are probably like, it's fucking sex, Dan. Like, you know, like, but like it's not, right? Like content's not just, there's a very clear difference in good porn creators or good OnlyFans creators and bad ones, right? So like when you're doing it, like, were you just winging it? Like, were you just trying to figure it out? Like, how did that start?
Yeah, I feel like I just winged it. I just like got all cute, put on my little outfit, put my little schoolgirl outfit on. I was like, woo! And then, I set up my, I think I got a ring light. That was like the first thing, my first investment. I was like, oh, it's business expense. Like,
I love it.
Yeah. So I went and bought myself a ring light and I was like, oh. And like, I kind of just like worked with it. Yeah. And like, I was like living at my mum's, like closing the door. Anyways, no one come in. So yeah.
Yeah. And from that, actually, that was my next part is like, what about the rest of the world around you? Like friends, family, like, when did they start to know that you guys were doing these things?
My mum found it straight away. But because I was spending lockdown at one of my close friends' house, just because like I wanted to like smash my head into the wall living at my parents at sometimes. So I was like, I cannot be trapped in the house with these people for that long. So I went there, and then like for the last like 2 weeks I was staying there, I made the OnlyFans, whatever. And as soon as I got home, she's like, oh, you made an OnlyFans, did you? I was like, yeah, but it was not a big conversation. It wasn't. She was just like, oh, like, don't do the dumb shit that I did kind of thing when she was in the industry, etc. So, yeah.
Yeah. And for yourself?
my family doesn't know.
Okay.
But like I'm the type of person where it's like they know they can't say anything to me, like anything anyway, and I'm always gonna like do whatever I want to do, and they can't really say like, oh, what are you gonna fall back on? Because next year I'm gonna have like finished my law degree, so it's like I can still do both those things. I think like parents can be scared like, oh, you're only going to be limited to that thing. It's like you can do literally whatever you want to do. Like you can be a porn star. Like exactly.
Your podcast stars now.
Yeah. So it's like I think that perspective where it's like it's shifting sort of where people used to think like, oh, you're limited to like that one sort of like industry, and if you're a porn star, you're tainted from you can't do anything else. But it's like I think now people are sort of realizing, oh, actually it's more like acceptable now, and it's more like it's not so like in the dark and mysterious and like a dungeon or like on the street corner and stuff. Like it's like you can be like classy and like professional and like, and it's like something that you can actually be proud of. So they don't know, but I just if they find out, I'm just like, okay, like,
it is what it
is,
right?
Change anything.
Can I ask, like, from a law degree perspective, like how does that affect, like, are you looking to be a lawyer? Like, are you going to try sit the bar and stuff like that?
Yeah.
And so how will it affect that? Because like there's like, you know, because they're like old guys sitting on this bar going, we assess like personality and like their rapport and all that sort of stuff. Like, do you think it could hurt those chances?
No, so like you don't even have to disclose it.
Cool.
It's nothing that can bring
disrepute's the word I'm looking for.
Yeah, exactly. Like bring it kind of like into like a negative light, shine a negative light on the legal industry. If anything, I think it's more positive because I can actually have an experience, a real life experience that I can help do, especially because I do a little bit of intellectual property law. Yeah. So I can actually help creators with like that experience.
Fantastic.
So in reality, like I think that's what people will always like say to me, like, oh, you're not going to be able to like become one. But it's like, and they actually, a lot of lawyers have drink driving convictions. A lot of there was a recent lawyer that, exactly. So they've got a lot of convictions and things. I'm not a criminal. Like I haven't done anything illegal. So like, I think it should be fine. Like, but if it isn't, there's so many other careers that you can do with a law degree. But
it's a door opener, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
That's real interesting. And I think that's something to touch on is that like, what you've said there is because people would expect that if you're going to try to be a lawyer and you've had an OnlyFans, that there's no way that you could pass the bar if that's the case. But it's a fully legal profession doing everything legal. There's nothing actually wrong with it except for like some old fuddy-duddies. Right? And that's it. But that's not how you get disbarred.
No, they can't do that. Like, they can't just be like, I've seen your booty hole. You can never be a lawyer. If anything, I feel like I'll make them uncomfortable and they'll just be like, just get away from me. Like,
I love that.
Like, it's like, you know, like, it'll be
Can you imagine? Can you imagine, like, you're in the interview trying to sit at the bar and they're like, I've seen your asshole. Like, I've seen some dude lick your asshole out.
Your opinion is voided.
Yeah, exactly. I think it will work. Like, I think they think like it's a power imbalance that they'll have the power over me, but I feel like I'll have the power over them. But like, you wanked me.
Yeah.
Like,
how was it? How was the wank?
Yeah, exactly.
Don't forget.
Because I have gotten with like professors before, so I know like lawyers they up to some stuff.
That is the fucking best. I can't fucking wait till you pass by. Can you tell us when that happens? Like, can we come and like, can we film it? Like, that is so good. Just like slip into them, like make it a spectacle. Like you would, I mean, if you want some marketing, Stacey, fucking get that public of them trying to challenge your setting the bar. Like
how could they? Like it's positivity. Like it's like.
Oh, and it's legal though. At the end of the day, it's the law society. You've done nothing illegal. That's awesome. I love that. I'm just going to quickly jump back to you, Amara. You said when your mum was in the industry, so was she doing similar things? Like, what was that?
So
I mean, you don't have to talk about it if you don't want to.
I'm fine talking about it. It's not her it's not her grandest part of her life that she prides herself in, but I'm meaning when she did move to New Zealand, and she broke up with her boyfriend, she ended up owning a brothel actually in Tauranga.
Interesting.
And so she kind of worked there, did that, ran it, that kind of whole thing. And then just fucked her whole life up. And it was kind of downhill from there.
Because of that, or is it because of other things? But that caused the other things to happen.
Yeah, so like she got involved with drugs and gang members and all the
things that came with that industry at the time.
Yeah, which is why she got kind of like, as soon as she kind of found out I was in the industry, she's like, you know, like I tried to explain it to her and she was like, like I understand. I just don't want you to hang around the same people I did and do the same shit. Like, well, her best friend got murdered, like
crazy.
The old owner of the brothel, which is how she ended up owning it. So like she's been through some shit.
A succession plan, eh?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's real interesting. I like that because like what's real interesting about that, especially like for you guys with Thumper, and we'll get into that shortly, is that like there's a new way. There's a new way where you don't have to have the gangs and the drugs and everything around it to support it. Because there are new ways of doing it. And Thumper's obviously like leading the charge in New Zealand, definitely, but also globally, right? Like there's not a lot of big agencies doing what Thumper's doing globally because like there just isn't.
Yeah, they're just like messaging you and like, trust me, I've got the recipe.
Yeah, that's what I noticed too. That's why I was like, I've been fascinated ever since you guys launched Thumper, like since this came, because I was like, fuck, like no one's done it this way.
Yeah,
like everyone else has done it. It all looks like real
scammy,
sleazy, like it looks like talent agencies but worse. just far
they
worse.
Want everyone and anyone. You got a vagina, you can do it.
There's like that one guy, I can't remember his agency, but I know he's got some New Zealand girls on his roster, or he had some, and his own TikTok, he just used it. Like it was an agency, right? Like doing this OnlyFans agency, but it was just so sleazy. It was like Dan Bazillion, but like sleazy version of it. Like the gross, sleazy, dirty version of it. And I just remember thinking like, this is fucked. Like this is, and it was a real, like for me, it was a real eye opener because I was like, oh shit, is the OnlyFans industry just going to go the same way all the other porn industry and sex industry and stuff did?
Yeah.
But then like this came along, and I hadn't seen anything like I don't know like if Stacey wants to jump in and say anything, but I don't know if like if there is anyone else in the same space as good as Thumper right now. Like what's your biggest competition at the way that you guys play?
In New Zealand?
Well, just globally.
Not really.
It's not a.
Mainly because if you watch all the big platforms, like for example back then from Playboy and now PornHub, X videos,
there's always a man.
All the directors, all the group cameramen, they're all men.
All men.
But we're trying to make it because Jasmine, our owner, like the founder, because she wants to create like an ethical space. We don't want to force the girls to do whatever they don't want to do.
Cool.
The
Love
teams
it.
are always full of girls.
So good.
The marketing person is a girl as well.
Yeah, I love that. Like, and that's why when I first saw it, that's why you guys were like the first guys we reached out to get on this, because like it's not done before, and it's like, and we'll say this off camera before, like I really love like how the empowerment of this industry is, because like there's nothing wrong with sex, there's nothing wrong with the industry, there's nothing like it's the biggest, oldest industry ever, right? Like it's never going away, so it's great. So tell me, throughout this like period, you guys sort of like, you're sort of at the stage now, and you've been in with Thumper longer, and you're about to start with them. Tell me about that experience. Like when, how did that for you, Amara? How did that conversation start? When did it all happen? Like how did this? Tell me the journey for you to Thumper.
Yeah, it was quite exciting. So we actually went on like a girls trip. It was me, Jasmine, Violet, and our friend Nisha. We went to Bali. And we kind of just like we're doing a bit of content and all that stuff. And then Jasmine, we were out at a cafe, and Jasmine sat us down. She's like, look, I know this is gonna kind of be a kind of outlandish random topic to throw out there, but she's like, I'm wanting to start like an OnlyFans agency kind of thing, like, and I want you guys to be like the founding models.
Cool.
And like instantly I was like, thank you, because like this is it's exactly like what I had in my head, but I had no like way of executing it, like she had it all planned out, and she was just kind of like, I don't know, there's nothing really sorted at the moment, all I know is I've got the name. And then she was like, Thumper, and I was like, oh, that's so cute. And then we kind of just kept making jokes about it throughout the whole trip, like Thumper girls, Thumper girls. And then it kind of, we got back from Bali, and like within a month it was all like rolling, like everything came real. And like now it's been I don't know how many months, almost a year, almost. And it's just up and up, like the escalation of how quickly we're growing and that's like cool. How better our work's getting, how easier things are flowing is like crazy.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's exciting. We've finally got some new models and stuff like that joining us. So yeah,
that's great. And how's your story to joining? Like, how did you come to this point?
Like I was doing it all on my own, and like I had exams last year, so I like kind of burnt out and like didn't even want to like do much like anymore because I was just like over it, like doing everything all on my own. And you get so many like DMs and like emails from like agencies being like, let me like market you and represent you and like all this stuff, and it's like it looks like a scam. And so I was never like enticed by any of them. But then when I saw like Thumper come along, even just like not even like as a model, but just like as someone who really loves just like female empowerment and like sexual liberation, I found it really positive, and like how it's ethically produced, it's female run, it's in alignment with everything that I'm passionate about. And so then, and it looks good, like it looks really good. It was really good, high quality content as well. And I wanted to kind of set myself aside from some of the other creators that are out there where it is sort of like, it is like homemade stuff, but then there's like, it can look a bit like not cheap. That's not the right word, but I guess like it just looks not as professional.
Lo-fi production, right? Same. Get it.
And I just wanted something that was just like when I'm an old woman, I can look back on and be like, I looked good, I looked hot, I love it. I did that shit. Like I'm proud of it. Like and like I want it to feel confident, comfortable within myself and doing it. And like they produce high quality content. And so when they reached out to me, were like, do you want to have like a meeting with us? I'm like, fuck yeah. Like, yeah, of course. Like they were the only people that I would ever, because they're all women as well. Like there's no like creepy weird photographer there being like, spread and stuff. So it's like, I'm not doing any more like collabs with any like male photographers, I don't think, at this stage in my
And that's been a thing?
That's my only up until Thumper experience is like male collabs with male photographers. There are some really, really good ones, but there are some really, really just weirdos. And so it's just not, it's not the vibe.
Is that what they're like?
Yeah, no, but like fully, sometimes some
just
of them
spread for me.
Yeah, no,
that's
they direct you, and it's from the male perspective. So a lot of time it's like your face could be contorted and like looking so weird, but then they just want to see like all your holes, and they just like spread your holes, and that's it. Like so, it's not really that. The female perspective in sexuality is more beautiful. In my opinion, it's more. It's the male perspective is more like how kind of like dirty and aggressive and like sloppy and like can you get?
It's about power, right?
It's about power. With women, it's more like it's more it feels more sacred. It feels more sensual. And that's why I love Thumper. It's the female perspective of porn, really.
I love that. That's such a good way to put it as well. Like that's really cool because you are right. Like the porn industry, because it is so male. It is. I mean, it's like Playboy had its own place in time, and it did what it did and whatever. But then it was like when Penthouse came along, and it was just like that was when it just got filthy. You know, like whatever his name is, the guy who got shot, who did Penthouse, you know, like, and he was just like the guy ended up in a wheelchair. I forget his name now, and he tried to take on Playboy, but he just turned it into like full, like just filthy, just as filthy as it can go. I mean, in today's standard, it's nothing. Like it's still nothing. It was just vagina.
It was just sex.
It was just sex. But like for the 60s, it was fucked up, right? Had you had experiences prior to Thumper, like working with other photographers or film or anything like that?
I did like start. I worked with a couple male photographers. I don't necessarily have a bad experiences with them. Only thing is they are a slut for the airbrush. I'm like, I don't want the edited photos. Like, let me see my elbow crease. Like,
Interesting.
They airbrush everything. That was like the main thing. But maybe that's just me. I feel like I'm kind of like, I don't notice when people are being like too creepy. I'm just like, okay, I do this. But yeah, I didn't really have anything bad happen or anything.
But you did like prior to Thumper, you had other people helping create content with you?
Yeah. I did a few photo shoots and stuff like that, which I still like the photos to this day and stuff. So yeah.
No. So I guess where I was going with that line of questioning is that like this wasn't the first time. Like you didn't just go from you in your bedroom at your mum's house to full on Thumper. Like there was it was a steady progress into this, right?
Yeah.
Tell me from a Thumper perspective, like how is that relationship with Thumper and you guys? Like how do they support you? What is the stuff that you guys do? Like how is that especially for yourself, because I know you're just coming new into it. But like how is that relationship evolved? I know you obviously were friends and it built out of that, but like, how is Thumper? What is it doing to help you grow your channel?
Well, when she first kind of like gave us the rundown of what was going to happen, I was like burnt out. Like I'd hit like a point where I was like, I have done everything. Like, well, I'm not necessarily, but it just felt like repetitive, and I did lose a passion for it. Yeah. And like that honestly probably lasted almost 12 months of like, I still made content, but you can tell that I wasn't
like
putting my back into it,
you know? Yeah.
So yeah, she like, especially Jasmine, like came, she's like, okay, like she came with the plan, like we're gonna, like she was just there for us. Like she'll FaceTime me, myself, be like, okay, like can you post this, or like how about can you film this for this week, like because sometimes I forget a lot of things. So I need someone to like constantly be reminding me and things like that. And she's so patient. Like she lets me come over to her house and just like, well, she'll film TikToks of me, like even just when she's just having her own day by herself and things like that. I'm like, hey, can you take some photos? Hey, can you film some TikToks for me? And she's always there. She gets Airbnbs and things like that. Yeah, I'll let you do some talking.
Yeah, no, that's it. And is that, have you like, I mean, I don't know how long you've been with Thumper, like, but is that your similar experiences in terms of like just that support?
Yeah, like that's like, the support's been crazy. I wasn't expecting it to be like that. Like when I came in, it was like, I didn't even have to like move a muscle, like literally lift a finger. Like they were adjusting my hair for me, adjusting my titties for me, like making sure everything looked perfect.
I love it.
And it's like, I was just like, okay, like sweet. Like I just have to do that. Like really? Like, and then literally my social media, they were like helping me like run my social media, because I'm really bad with that kind of stuff. Like I look like I could just have like a fake account. Like I'm like an old creepy man running my account, because like I put like weird like captions and weird filters. Like I don't know how I'm not social media minded. Yeah. And so like, I really, really needed them. I didn't realize how much I needed them until I had them. And then I was like, how the fuck was I doing this on my own? Like, no ma'am. Like, and so they got rid of like all my Instagram photos, because I was just like, it's not it. We need like fresh start. So I was like, okay, rebrand. Yeah. And so that's what we've been doing at the moment. Just like, rebranding. And then for the launch. And then, it's been really cool. Like, they're so supportive and just like really, really like empowering. Like they empower each other, and it's super creative. Like Jasmine's really, really creative, like, which is really cool.
Like,
cool.
That girl's mind is just
really?
Like constantly like pumping out the like every time I show up to the photo shoot, I'm like, how did you guys think of this? Like how?
I love that.
Yeah.
Like, and I think that like watching Thumper's content, like especially as like the lead up to here, like the stuff that you guys did with the Barbie thing just recently that you guys put out on the Thumper's pages, and just like the style of content that's coming through that channel, it almost like, I don't know if you guys want this association, but like it's like 1960s Playboy, right? Like it had the prestige of what that had at the time, even though it was like risky at the time, risque maybe right at the time, but there was like a prestige about it over everything else, and it's kind of like what this is achieving.
Yeah, exactly.
And this is what I was saying, like it's not normal.
Yeah, it's not done in a tacky way or anything. Everything's very artistic, but still giving sexy and that kind of thing. Yeah,
but then like I'm assuming, and like I'm not a paid subscriber, so I don't know. But I'm.
You can be.
Wow, I was hoping I'd get a discount code. Yeah, give me a discount code, and we'll check it out. We'll get a team one for all the team to watch. But I'm assuming that because like it goes straight right into our ATTN content, right? In terms of what you guys produce, and so how far does the content go with Thumper? Like, is it full everything ATTN content, or is it right? Or does it depend on the girl?
It depends on the girl. Some of our girls don't do like show full nudes or anything. Cool. Yep. Some girls don't do porn. It's all like kind of for everybody. Cool. So when we do like the content houses and stuff, we do days of TikToks and Instagram reels and Instagram photos. And then there'll be other days where the girls that do porn, we go and shoot. Like we just did one like yesterday and the day before that, and we had one day for just doing all porn, all of that stuff, and the girls who aren't involved in that just went and did their own thing.
Okay, interesting. So everyone, and that's what you're saying, right? With the way Jasmine created this, it's about doing whatever you want to do and feel comfortable and not feeling pressured to do things,
and just being in the environment of people working. Like it's like creates a fun workspace, and that's something that I like value probably most about. Is just like, it's not like, oh, wake up, I have to go to work. It's kind of like, I'm excited to go hang out with my friends and do what I love and be pushed to create.
cool shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. What I was going to get into, first of all, is like, so you got this content now. So do you both do porn on Thumper, or is it just both of you doing it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So were you doing it? I mean, you told me off camera that you did do it previously, and were you as well? Both?
Yeah. I was doing girl on girl and also solo, but I've only just recently started doing like boy girl, like porn.
Boy girl stuff. Yeah. And what about yourself?
I only do girl, but like I have like a vault of boy girl stuff, so I'm like I have it, but I haven't like published anything or like released anything.
Interesting.
Maybe in the future, because it's like I do like full explicit lesbian porn, I guess.
Okay. Yeah. And is there a reason behind that, like not releasing the other stuff?
I had a partner and stuff, and so I guess navigating like their boundaries and stuff it can be a slight challenge. I guess that's the only reason why, is like if your partner's not comfortable doing it, and if they're not comfortable you doing it with someone else, you kind of like have to either like have those deep, like those big conversations that are quite hard, but like you have to be open about it. And as long as you can like find someone that you can be open with, it is fine. But unfortunately it is sort of like can be a challenge. But okay. And now that you're doing some boy girl stuff, is it with a partner or is it with talent, or like what is it, or like another person?
Oh, sorry.
No, you go.
Sorry, talking over you. It's with my partner at the moment. We just film like homemade stuff. I haven't filmed him with Thumper at this point. It's still on the fence about whatever, but my audience like really prefers that kind of homemade amateur, and so does my partner as well. He's like, well, when I watch porn, I want to feel like it's kind of homey, you know. But not to say that I won't in the future, but
I love that, and we'll go back to this word that we wanted to talk about destigmatizing this industry, because actually that is it, because you guys get to make those decisions now, right? Like that wasn't the way it was before. Like people looked at this going, you do what you're told, get into it.
And if you don't, then you're not getting paid and you're not getting another job, kind of thing.
Yeah. And now we're opening it up by letting everyone see, like, actually this industry isn't some rough backdoor look at the fucking, this is like a real thing that people can have a real good career in, but actually make good choices for themselves, right? And tell me, I want to touch into this, like with your partner and doing that content with him. For him, how has that been? Like, did he have a history of this, or are you just like, come on in, flop it out?
So,
like what's happening?
So before I was friends with him for many, many years, and I had started doing OnlyFans like while we were friends, whatever. And then we kind of just ended up like falling into a relationship. We kind of just started seeing each other really, and like at first he was kind of like, we didn't really see that it was going to be a relationship, so he was just kind of like, oh yeah, you do you, I'll do me, whatever. And then kind of feelings started getting involved, and it did cause a little bit of trouble between us, like I think is 100% fair. Like, it is a lot for you. We will walk the streets and like people come up to me, I've seen your girlfriend's vagina, oh you have such a good pussy, like things like people would come up to me and like in front of him, and he's just like, so obviously that would take a lot for him take a lot for him to kind of like swallow, which I understand. But and then slowly, I never was like, you have to film with me. Like it was never a conversation where it was a conversation, but it was never like, I was like, it's either you make content or you're not with me kind of thing. So he kind of warmed up to the idea of it. Now he owns it. He's like, I feel like I'm so cool. Like,
I love that.
He thinks that he's like, he feels like the man because he's like, it's all good. I'm good with my girlfriend doing it, and now I'm joining in, and like he's like, I've got nothing to lose. Like, he still has his life with his friends, and no one treats him differently, and no.
Do people know it's him? Like, is it point of POV style? Like, or
definitely people we know will know. His face isn't in it, but he does have like distinctive tattoos. And I'm not a fan of. But
love it.
Yeah, I was like, maybe if you want to film content, you just get the hand one removed.
Interesting.
But it's all good. He doesn't mind about it at all. But he just prefers no face, but he's not open. He's not closed off to the idea of not showing his face ever.
Okay. Okay, cool. Interesting. from like you already talked about before about getting 10 grand for doing some feed stuff.
Yeah.
Which is awesome. I fucking love that. It's so great. Tell me about the money. Like, you know, you don't have to give all the numbers away, but like from your perspective, from like a monetary perspective, how has it been since you first started, and how has the income changed over the times?
Well, because I've only really been doing it for like a year, so like it's quite. There's a lot of other creators that say that it's changed throughout the year, so I'm not too sure what it was previously. But I know, like for me, I don't know if it was easier for me or like harder necessarily, but I've noticed that there is this kind of like misconception that a lot of OnlyFans creators make like $80 a month, which is like, if you Google that, I'm pretty sure that's what like the average is. But it's like the OnlyFans creators that I know, there's no way that they make that little amount. Like you would not do that unless you're like exhibitist. I think that's the word, like where you like
exhibitionist,
where you just like to, that's your thing. But if you're doing it for a job and you're actually trying to make money, there's no way that I've ever seen a girl that would do that for that little. You have to be getting money for it. And so I think I wouldn't say like I'm like doing better or worse than like other girls, but like I think like for me, the way I navigated it, I made more money earlier than maybe what some other people would make, considering the fact that I don't have a social media platform and I don't know how to navigate social media. So that's like, if you have a social media platform, you can pop off. And I think that's another misconception. It's like you think if you make an OnlyFans, you can instantly pop off and you can go viral. You won't. Like you have to actually have like viral content, like virable content, which is so hard nowadays, or to pop off on somewhere else like PornHub to then get subscribers, or have like be an influencer already, or like an artist or some type of like person that's in the spotlight already to get subscribers. So if you're just like an average person doing it, like, and having it in your mind, oh my God, I'm going to pop off straight away, that's not the way to go about it. You really have to understand it is a bit more slow burning. And as long as you're consistent and you put in the effort and you treat it like a job, then it will pay off. Like there's no way it's not going to like pay off. Like,
how did you then, if you weren't doing social media, get it to go?
I don't know. Like that's the thing. Like I have no idea, because like now that I have all the support around Thumper, I'm like, how the hell was I doing this on my own? It's just a ring light and my phone, and like my phone is like
how are you promoting it though?
Just I would promote it on PornHub. So I do have like some videos on PornHub, like a couple, and then just Instagram and TikTok is pretty much the main ones. Other people do use like Reddit and Twitter and things. I still am learning how to navigate that side of things. But literally just like TikTok and Instagram.
And did like from a follower base, like what sort of follower count did you have on those platforms?
Nothing. Like started from scratch.
I love it.
Like ground up. Like
That's fantastic. I fucking love that. And so, you know, like thinking back to like that 10K for the feed stuff, right? What is that in comparison to now? Like, was that like a big payday, or is that like that's just an everyday thing?
That was like insane, like for me, because I was like so young as well, and so it was like to have like that amount. It was crazy, and like I would get my cousin to like drive me to like go like see him and stuff, and I'll pay her to drive me, and like it's also like how to like try to like hire her as like my
I love that.
That's my thing. So I felt like I was like, oh yeah, I'm making money, but then it's like the risk that goes alongside it when you're doing like in-person stuff, even if you're not doing like super sort of sex work stuff, even if it is like really like literally just feet stuff, they could still of course. You just expose yourself.
You're in person, right? Anything can happen. Okay, and so what about for yourself, Amara? Like, how was that journey from like an income perspective? Like, how has that changed because you've been in it a bit longer?
So when I first started, I had my original Instagram account that I had like through high school and stuff like that, which I think I had like almost 10,000 followers on. I don't even think I had TikTok at the time. No. So I was just solely Instagram and probably just in person. Like I was always out and about. Just like I had a good social network.
Party girl.
Outside. I feel like that's where my main audience or like people know me from, is just in person. So when I started, I had a bit of a platform, and obviously no one really had done it. Like no one, like no one else was doing it. So it was kind of like one of the only girls that I knew of in New Zealand at the time. And so everyone was interested. Like every single guy friend that I've probably ever had, they all got to see it. And it was a little bit scary at first, obviously, because I'm like, I know she's cute, but but it was a bit scary to like know that now pretty much everybody I know has seen my vagina. So it was a lot to swallow. But income wise, I definitely like I got a boost off the start just for general curiosity. And then with that, after my Instagram and stuff has kept getting deleted, my TikTok's been deleted, when I got cancelled.
I feel like that's a story you need to share.
Yes.
So, we need to hear that story.
Which did affect my income, which I've noticed every time that I lose a platform, it's just like, like it's so irritating. Just purely for the fact because I think it's unfair. So that's just what I've noticed mostly with my income.
So does that mean that your income like you had a spike and then has it like steadily increased or sort of just wobbled? It's like wobbled, but wobbled an incline. So it's trending up.
So definitely, but it's just like, you know, you get a good run, you get a good TikTok or something, and then that pops off, and then it gets deleted, or I get a good reel that gets deleted, or I get one of my photos, anything. I've honestly had like 20 Instagram accounts. It's like crazy.
Tell me about that. Like, why is it happening? I mean, obviously,
I don't know, Instagram, please. Why is it happening? Oh no, it's Facebook now.
It's Is it like it's obviously something around like I'm guessing you're exposing too much for the platform that they're not okay with it. Is that what it is?
Well, allegedly. I mean, like, to be fair, with my like past Instagrams, I wasn't naked. I wasn't showing nipples. I wasn't showing vag or anything. But I could say that some things, particularly on my story, could have been a little bit more on the raunchy side, like mirror selfie, like holding my boobs or something like that. But nothing that was too extreme. Like, I didn't post any like snippets of any porn I'd made. Like, I've never posted like a snippet and I've just zoomed out like my holes or nothing, anything like that. And I used to write like OnlyFans and stuff until Instagram kind of banned all words associated. But I say with my last 10 accounts, I've been so good.
Is that how many you've been going through?
Yeah, I've probably like 15 accounts or 15, 17, somewhere around there.
And so you've never done like any nudity on it?
I've never like there was one photo which I do admit was a little bit naughty. It was like it was me wet, and it was like above my bum crack though. But you could see maybe just like half my butt crack, and it was my back, and that one got deleted. You can go on Instagram
right now and find a million photos.
So I was like it was just on my story as well. And then my Instagram got deleted like that day. So that was one that I was kind of like, okay, you can be fair about that, but the rest.
But can you though? Like,
it's that's the thing. Is like I've seen so many girls like naked and they've got like a sheet over them or like they're covering and things like that, and I'm like, and I've seen nipples on Instagram all the time now. I always rant about it on my story because like someone needs to hear me.
Have you had similar experiences?
I think I don't know what this is my like 6th account I think. And it's so frustrating. It's like you build it up and then just like that gone. And it's like if it's for a valid reason, like sure, like fair enough, but it's not. It's like a lot of the time it's like you're not even posting really explicit content that goes against the guidelines. And so when it's not going against the guidelines, you don't have any guidelines to like navigate what can I post and what can't I post.
I've messaged Instagram and being like, can you just tell me like exactly what is wrong? Because I don't understand that any of this is like it says no, it has all the things. You're not allowed to show your vag, you're not allowed to show your arsehole, you know, the typical things. And I'm like, I've never done that. Like even with my first Instagram account, like I never like posted like a nude and like blurred out my vagina or like blurred out my boobs or anything like that. But I've seen plenty of girls do it.
That's all Instagram is, right?
Exactly.
Like it's half of it has been grown because of girls doing this sort of stuff, right? And it's all still there. So that there was a story you said about getting cancelled, things like that. Stacey looked at me saying, "That's a good story. Get it out." What happened there? Up to you. You can choose not to.
Oh, we're gonna get exposed. Let's see if I got anything naughty on there.
Yeah, is she full of shit?
I've never done that.
Wait, that's your vagina. No.
See, look, that one I had to delete, but it's still allowed to be my profile picture somehow. Yeah. So I don't know. Anyways, what was the question again?
So you talked about getting cancelled.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Is that a story you want to share?
Yeah.
You don't have to.
No, I'll share it. It's like got my real name on all the articles though, but I don't really care about that too much. But basically, when I was locked down, I was invited to a party.
Okay.
And which I attended with 50 other people maybe.
Is this that famous party that everyone heard about? Yeah, okay,
North
cool.
Shore.
Got it. Yeah, I'm with you.
And I did post some stories and I was caught lacking in a few stories, kissing a few girls. And people wrote paragraphs like wishing death upon me. Like it was like I've never experienced anything like that because I'm such a people pleaser. So like I've never I'm always just like hee, like think everyone loves me. I'm fine. So to have like the whole nation like turn their back, like have people like my friend's little sister, she goes to my old high school and my old dean is her English teacher. Yeah. And she was like, your old dean was saying nobody talk about like that. She's my old student, like blah blah blah. And she had to say that in front of the class at school. Which was pretty crazy. And everyone mass reported my Instagram, my Twitter, my TikTok, all of that. My Facebook survived though, which is good. Yeah. But I saw a few TikToks of people making other girls bleep that as well. Saying, I'm getting all these messages, reporters, like stuff reporters messaging them saying, hey, can we get an interview? And she's like, I'm not her. Like she's getting death threats and stuff like that. So it was pretty crazy. Yeah, that is nuts.
It was a time that was like everyone was a bit heightened and things were crazy.
Oh, for sure.
And like how people feel about it is regardless that these days, like because we've all moved on, it is what it is. And that sort of like leads me into the conversation we had previously off camera about yourself with death threats and things that happen. And I'm not sure if you still want to share that story or not. Yeah. But like the reason I wanted to share it is like these things are crazy, these moments in time that everyone fucking wants to kill you or do crazy shit.
I just couldn't even imagine like messaging some
but
random
it's
bitch on the
like,
internet
that. To kill you, like there's a digital footprint. Like we can't find your IP address and give the cops your address. Like the cops can't
got
find
screenshots though.
Yeah. I had to go to the police about it because they were trying to. There was these people trying to like pay people to find me. Yeah. So there was actual people trying to like pay to like any information about me. So it was very scary and like the police dealt with it and stuff and like sorted them out. But still, it was like it's quite insane. So and like in a sense, it is good like having a social media platform like this where it's like it's not my legal name. So it's like they can't really they can't find who I was. But I think if it was your real name, that would be so scary. Like so like there was like people looking for me out on the street and it's like New Zealand's small, so it's like they can find you if they want to. And so it's like you do have to protect yourself and your safety a bit more. Yeah. Because whenever you're in the spotlight, people will just try to have an opinion about something. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that goes beyond just even OnlyFans creators, right? It's just like what you did there is just someone being an activist. Yeah. It would have happened regardless. You're just, playing up and doing what you're doing. Yeah. It's just so happened that they went after you for that. Yeah. So it's good. So it's a good advice for everyone actually. And I think like a lot of young people these days like don't, because social media is so accessible, like you understand the like ramifications of shit that happens and like what can happen so fast. I mean, it's the same thing with you getting cancelled, right? Like, you might not regret it now, but like there was so many things that you could have still done the thing, but not necessarily made it so public and put out the content and I mean like let's be honest, like obnoxious about it, right? Because that's what it was.
That's what people were angry about.
It wasn't that you did it. Heaps of people did fucked up shit over COVID. Like
I know. I was like, some people were coming at me. I'm like, bitch, I fucking seen you out.
I mean, Boris Johnson famously had a party at 10 Downing Street when it happened, right in the Parliament in London, right? So like the whole London Parliament had a party and they got in shit for it. So it's like everyone did it.
Yeah.
It's the fact that it's like how you react to it that makes it good, all right?
Yeah.
So, okay, enough political crap and that sort of stuff. I want to ask a question that I'm real fascinated by is, so whenever I podcast guests on, we do some research before we start Googling.
I got a fright from the microphone jumping towards me.
Oh, that's me banging on the table.
I was like, what?
We do some Googling.
Yeah.
We do some searching. It doesn't take a lot of Googling until there's Amara's vagina in my face. But there's like heaps of stuff, right? Like, as soon as you start searching for stuff like Thumper or even Jasmine and that, because obviously she's the founder, but also like was such a big TikTok account before she lost that. Like that account's still lost, right? Like the big one that she had.
Yeah.
So it's quite easy like to quickly find stuff that's been leaked or things that have been put out. Do you, in your guys' world, like, do you think that helps or hinders the growth of what you do?
I have like mixed emotions, like especially like I do feel like some things are kind of like good publicity or like it is kind of good marketing in some degree. Yeah. But also at the same time, I've like, especially Reddit, like I can't, and Discord is kind of bad as well, but I'm not too much on Discord. But like trying to report things on Reddit is like I want to pull my hair out. They send you, like, you can't just go report this is me. Yeah. Like you have to fill out like a whole form about copyright and like all this shit you need to have. I was like, I can't even be fucked doing this for every single post as well. Yeah. And you can't report like a specific account. Like I had people like had dedicated accounts to just leaking my OnlyFans stuff, and like people going, oh, it's, selling this for $5 or like selling it for cheaper than what I'm doing, and I'm like, if you're gonna be paying for it, like what's the fuck is the point of paying this dweeb over me, like that's kind of irritating in a way. But I wouldn't say it's heavily affected. I do, when I post on Twitter and stuff like that, in some photos I'm fully naked, vag out, everything. So like to the point where like when I was doing the research, it's the first photo that shows up, and then so when Ashley's like, what are their handles? I was like, don't Google it, Ashley, unless you want to see a full thing. I was like, you can if you want, but like I don't jump on it. But like, and so that's interesting, right? Because like I want to touch on that, and I'd like your opinion as well about this sort of, because you did PornHub, which is it is free, right? And like this is gonna be some real fucked up because I'm about to associate this to what we do, but like it's we have this whole thing of like, you give everything away, and those who can't afford it will take the free stuff. And those who can want that little bit more. I think at the end of the day, everyone that subscribes to you are wanting you to have the money, Like, so it's just kind of the whole point, like what you're giving out there. People, if they see something and they like it, then they'll come back for more, kind of, is more the theory.
What's your thoughts on that same process?
Like, personally, like for me, like with Pornhub and stuff, I tried to put like little like testers out there, like so it's like see what the public responds to see what like videos they like, and then I'll post like there will only be like 3 but sort of different kind of categories to see what kind of like subs I can draw in, and so then I have like so many videos and so many photos, so it's like not even like 5% worth of what I'm posting on Pornhub, but then you get money from the views, and then you get subscribers come along as well. So personally for me, I haven't, with any of the leaking things, it hasn't really been like leaked, like per se, but like I've leaked it myself, like purposefully and stuff. And so I tried to do that just to give them like a tester to like reel them in. But like I'm not really worried about being leaked, because if anyone does, like because I'm learning about intellectual property and stuff, like there's a digital footprint. I can tell you guys now. There's a digital footprint, and like,
you can find
we will find you, and I will make a lot of money off you. And so if you really want,
she's gonna find out. If you want to like
post that and have your little fun and games, you can do that. But there will be consequences, real life consequences.
And that's true, right? Like I definitely think like if people are when you subscribe to a channel, when you buy someone's OnlyFans and stuff like that, you're entering into a contract which people don't really understand, but they are. And then that contract says you can't do that, you can't leak it, and it's for your eyes only, and all the jazz that it says. But like, there is an element, right? Like you think about people like you think about like the big guys on like Pornhub and stuff like that. Like the couple that I read an article about Leo Lulu, the couple on Pornhub. Do you know them? They're like, you love them? Yeah. There you go. Fuck, Stacey knows what I'm talking about. They're fucking huge, right? They're massive.
They're always ranked like top 10.
Yeah, they're always top 10 on Pornhub, right? I don't know if we should put Pornhub on the screen, but Connor will go have a look at it later on his own. Leo Lulu is a couple. They're French, I think, and they don't show their faces. And so, like, I mean, people know who they are, but like the general public doesn't know who they are.
Yeah.
And they went real big on Pornhub early and like released heaps on it and just did heaps. And it was like pretty good quality stuff. Like they filmed it all themselves. They did lots of collabs with other couples and things like that. But their story was that they did that was only like it was 5% of what they did. Even though it was heaps, it was only 5%. And then you had to go buy their stuff if you wanted more of it.
Yeah.
And especially if you wanted the full thing,
Yeah.
because they put a 10-minute cutout and stuff. And they've made millions doing it, right? Because they just said, you know what, like this is the best thing. We don't need to have I mean, they do have all the socials, but they didn't need it because Pornhub's already got so much traffic already through it. Yeah. And like I was saying that, like I've said that to a lot of people, like in the porn industry these days, like it's not, I wouldn't say it's easy. Like you said before, like it's a lot of work, right, that you got to do. And not everyone knows how to make content, even if that content's putting things in places, like it is what it is.
Yeah.
But like, there's an element of like you're saying, like you leak it.
Yeah.
Like I always get real skeptical. There was that chick on TikTok recently, I forget her name, but it's like she put it like temporarily closed her account and everything because someone like leaked her sex tape. Connor's like, oh, I've watched it. No. I can't remember who she was, but she's an American chick, got it released, like had real wholesome content, then got this like sex tape release. And then came back a little bit later. But her account went up like 4 million followers.
Oh, wow.
Or something crazy like that. Because like, and I was like, is this just publicity stuff?
Yeah,
like, is this what it is? Like, it's clever things, right? Like, and this is joking. Like, I don't know if you guys know Joni, who works with us here. But Joni's got like 500,000. And I was saying to Joni, like, we should do like a fake release, like a fake leak, like Joni M. Lee, like leaked, like we've leaked her things. And it's like, it's just AI content or some bullshit, right?
Yeah.
Just as a full piss take, because that's what, like, we do that on all our channels. If you've watched them, it's all piss takes. And I was thinking that like from a monetary perspective, like, or like a growth perspective, like that stuff's crazy. Like it's the thing that people think like, oh, it's the thing I shouldn't have and I want it.
Yeah.
And like, then I can go grab it. And then they think they're in the know, but actually all you've done is you've just driven hype to something that people are like, what the hell?
Exactly. Yeah.
It's all about hype.
Yeah, it is.
It's like the forbidden fruit that they're not allowed, right? And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, I can have
Everyone
it.
wants things they can't have.
Like imagine using your cancellation to be like,
well, I would have if I could. I just had no platform anymore.
like do it as like a press release. Here you go. This is a free one. Do it as a press release, like to people about like girl caught and COVID blah, blah, blah parties, all in something leaked. I mean, it's too late now probably. But you know what I mean? Like it's funny, those things, like how they work, about just giving it away causes people want more.
Yeah.
We get that all the time in business. Like it's a classic business move, right? Like, we do that all the time. Like all our content, like we have a saying in this business, in our business, we don't sell knowledge, we sell execution. So we do the work for you. So all the knowledge that we have, we give away. And it's all of that content that everyone's like, oh, well, I could just do it myself. It's like, go on then.
Yeah, do it.
Like, go do it yourself. And that's actually the similar approach, right?
Yeah.
Like your Twitter, for instance, like one half scroll was like, okay, there's enough there.
Yeah.
That you can get a taste of, if that's what you're getting there.
Yeah.
Imagine if you sub to it.
Yeah, exactly.
And yours is the same on Pornhub, right?
Yeah.
Like imagine if you've seen this. And the reason I bring it up is like, I think it's a real valid way of growing. Whereas a lot of people might seem other way. Like I've seen a lot of forums and stuff of people going, you shouldn't do that. Like never share, like, like always trying to get rid of it because they don't want that publicity. But what do you think? Like, do you think I'm off the mark here, or there's a balance, or like?
Yeah, I definitely, like, I noticed when I first started doing OnlyFans and stuff, like, I didn't even show my boobs for free, you know?
Yeah.
But eventually that gets old. Like, you know, it's like, okay, well, we've bought it and it's whatever. So it's like now you kind of have to, you have to work with it, you know, you have to still keep branching out and, you know, giving more kind of thing. So, and it just comes with the job, I guess. Like, you just have to, you know, when girls start OnlyFans, they're like, oh, but I'm not going to show anything. And I'm like, but it's going to get to a point where you've shown all you want to show, and then everyone's kind of like, oh, wow. Next.
Stop subbing.
Yeah, so you kind of do have to go, you have to give it out to gain something, you know, because at the end of the day, when people see things that they like, they'll come for it.
That's interesting, because that was my next question on my list for me, was the having to level up the extremeness of it, right?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm assuming with Thumper that, like, you guys are going to be in a good environment where, like, hopefully, well, it won't go into a place where it's bad.
Yeah.
But like you're saying just there, like, you have to keep on doing things. You got bored with what you're doing.
Yeah.
You know, like, this is gonna sound like, for the audience that listens to this, is gonna probably think, yeah, whatever. But like, creatively, you were losing drive to do stuff, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And that, like, people might turn their nose up on that, but that's truthful. Like, you're still making content. You're still creating shit.
Yeah.
And you have to keep leveling up. Like, when, like, for you guys, like, where do you think that line will come at a time where, like how do you navigate that when you get to a point where you're just gonna, like, keep trying to level up and things have to get more extreme? Like, where do you stop?
Yeah, well, see, I don't know. I feel like I'm quite an open. I'm willing to try anything, do anything. Like, I feel like that's one thing that why people, like, follow me and stuff like that, is because I'm kind of just like, I don't really give a fuck. And I'll do and say whatever. Fuck, I just had a mind blank.
That's all right. What about you, Zarita? Is it the same? Like, are you worried about having to continuously go, extreme's not the right word, but, like, keep leveling up the content to do more and more things that you weren't doing previously, or you don't think that's going to happen?
Like, I don't think so. Like, that was one of the concerns getting into the industry. Like, when I saw things on Netflix, like Hot Girls Wanted and stuff, and I seen like them being pressured to be like, oh, you got to stretch your pussy out and stuff like that. Like, you got to get a monster dildo and stuff. I'm like, I'm not doing any of that kind of crazy stuff. But it's like, there's actually so much out there that is sex content. Like, I don't know if you guys have seen on TikTok, but it's like, ice cream so good, ice cream so good. That type of stuff is actually like
NPC characters.
characters.
I saw that for the first time.
Can be sex work as well, sort of stuff. So she actually has like an OnlyFans account as well. So it's like, anything can be sex, and that's why it's like, you don't have to be extreme. You can go to the other end and be like, so, like, normal. So, like, and that's what I feel like is kind of becoming more popular now. Like, how you're saying your boyfriend likes to watch, like, homemade stuff is like, because there's so much, like, artificial intelligence and, like, everything's so kind of, like, hyper, like, photoshopped and everything, getting that sense of, like, normality and that human connection, and, like, having porn that is, like, a bit more, like, realistic and different, that doesn't have to be, like, so just, like, fucking 7 dildos in your ass or something. That's actually just, like, oh, you're having a cuddle, and then, like, because, I don't know, something like that. Like, it's more, like, natural. Like, I had one video that they really liked. I was just taking a nap. Like, so simple stuff, but, like, they eat it up. I don't know. So it's like, you don't actually have to go crazy. You can just, like, play around, do what you want to do, and test it out and see what goes. There's endless things.
That's what's good about OnlyFans. Like, I feel like you get to make your own decisions. Like, if you don't want to put 7 dildos in your asshole, you don't have to. Where, like, I've watched Lana Rhodes talk about her experience in the porn industry, like, when she was doing, like, proper porn, and she was just kind of told by, like, men saying, oh, well, if you don't want to get gangbanged, then you're not going to get a job for the next 6 weeks, and you're not going to get paid. And then that was kind of, you know, they would hang certain things like that over girls in the industry's head, and I was, like, really sad, which is why I also love doing OnlyFans and things like that, is because at the end of the day, I've had some crazy, outrageous requests before, and I've been able to say no, which is like a kind of a special thing, I feel like.
All right, guys, so if you enjoyed that, come back for part 2, because this episode only gets better and more raunchy in R18. We'll see you there.